If you've noticed that your child has started incorporating the coronavirus into their play, then you're not alone. This video is all about what it means when the realities of quarantine life, or perhaps even sickness, start showing up in play. Whether your kids are dressing up like superheroes and pretending to go out and save the world by killing the coronavirus, or planning their goodbye COVID-19 party, play helps to express what's going on for kids in lots of ways that are just more manageable for them. Pretend play like this and many other ways is healthy, normal, and is part of how children process stressful emotions and experiences. Even if at times it's stuff that a parent might find troubling, like angry feelings, it's often a sign that a child is working through something that they're finding pretty intense, like living through a global pandemic and how that shows up in their lives. Play actually helps children to regulate their mood when perhaps they're finding their experiences overwhelming. Through pretend play and role playing, they can perhaps get some distance from their immediate experience and in this way experience it less intensely. And this also helps them to be able to integrate their experience, including their fears of what's happening and perhaps what might happen in the future. And they can then build a story around it. It's the narrative that happens around the playing that's really important. Studies have shown that children who incorporate their experience of being hospitalized into their play by performing surgeries on their teddy bears, for example, experience less anxiety than those who don't play like this. And if your child needs to put on a cape and turn the virus into a bad guy in their superhero make-believe, then that too might give them a similar sense of relief from anxiety. Because this, the coronavirus, is the new bogeyman, the scary monster that lives under the bed or in the cupboard in the back of the room whose door should never ever be left open at night. We know from past and present times, still for many in the world, that children experiencing war times may enact battle or fight scenes in their play. In that way, the common thing is that children's play tends to reflect what they're experiencing in the world around them, what they see in the media, and what they hear from conversations amongst adults. And this is another reason why we need to be mindful about the media that children get exposed to and what they hear in our conversations. And remember, kids have got bat ears, except when they're in front of a screen, and then it's what's on the screen that you need to focus on, as well as how you're with them during that time. Watch this video in this link to find out more about screen time and how to manage it in these coronavirus times. Play can also help a child regain a sense of control. If a child is creating a box and putting dolls and stuffed toys inside and asking them to stay inside, then this might reflect their understanding of quarantine or isolation. But they're the ones giving the commands and making the requests, meaning that they, in a sense, are taking some control of the situation. The main thing to watch out from a caregiver perspective is repeated play where things don't seem to move on or things don't get resolved. If you get repeated play with no resolution, then that's where you might need to get more involved. And if children become clingy or upset during play, and this doesn't seem to be changing, that's another sign that you might want to help that play along or get some help with doing that. So it's not the fact that the coronavirus might make an appearance in how children are playing or the theme for their play, but what happens in the story that matters more. For children, pretend play is a very powerful way of working through all that's happening right now. That might look like things that can feel disturbing for parents, playing COVID tag or pretending to be sick or telling someone else to pretend to cough or be short of breath. And while it may feel unsettling to play illness, remember that children play what they know, and that also might mean concepts that they don't understand fully. You can learn more about your child's understanding of what's going on in their world by following their lead in their play. What you're doing here is getting an insight into how your child is making meaning through listening to the story about how things are going for them. And you may also find out more about any gaps in understanding they may have too. For younger kids, you can help them build that meaning and understanding of what's going on around them through play. You could have them practice physical distancing through their dolls or stuffed toys. You can count the number of ways they can greet each other without them touching each other. Or perhaps they do want to play doctor or patient. Don't stop them from trying to figure out stuff on their own, and try not to guide their play too much, but give them answers or set up simple options perhaps, and make a note of stuff that is incorrect and plan a way to give them correct information later. and see how it shows up in their play another time further along the track. For older children, perhaps playing COVID tag, perhaps don't just tell them to stop. Maybe take a moment to explain why that might be scary and perhaps why they were using the virus as their thing to run away from. And finally, this might be the perfect time to join in. If your child says, you pretend this and I'll pretend that, now is a great time to go with it. It will help you escape from reality for a minute. It will show your child that you're there for them, and it will help them work out their emotions and fears as they see you reacting in a safe, contained, pretend space. The best thing to do is to follow children's lead. If they want to play something else entirely, do that. If they want to play COVID, let them. Guide them through understanding and answering questions, but don't stop them from trying to figure it out for themselves through play. I'm Dr. Saab Johal, and you might also find this video helpful. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more from me. Thanks so much, and go well.